Hi guys, I'm just going to take a worst case CIS and show you that of the priming process and how to completely reprime the system that you have. This is the worst case scenario where we basically got air in the priming pump. You can see how soft it is. We've got air in the, move these slowly, so you can see there's a lot of air in the line. And we've also got a lot of air in the bladder in the tank. So this is matching the systems that you guys have down there. You're going to need, to complete this process, you're going to need some type of clamping tools, either rubber band or some type of paper clamp like this, or maybe even just a tube, but you're going to need to be able to crimp the lines to stop ink flow. Something like that, and just hold that. And then you're going to need also ink to fill the bladders. You'll need a syringe with the correct size dispensing needle, particularly the brown one, which I think we've provided. And you'll need that to be able to do the priming and the filling. I'm going to go ahead and do this process of repriming the system on the yellow only, just one color. You're going to have to repeat this process in all four colors for the CISs you have down there. The first thing you want to do is, since there's air through the whole system, lines, tank, cartridge, everything, is go ahead and set there. Most of your systems have a lot of ink in them. Ours has about 20 to 40 milliliters in it. I just want to simulate, but I'm going to show you some filling too. But go ahead and set the tank on its side, and so the tubes are down. I want you to have the tubes down. Now I'm going to go ahead and, without any clamps on the lines, I'm going to go ahead and stick the needle into the port, a large, 60 milliliter syringe. I'm going to stick the needle into the port, and I'm going to go ahead and just start drawing back. Don't worry about some ink coming in. I'm going to just go ahead and start drawing back. I'm going to draw out a bunch of air, so I'm trying to pull out as much air out of the system as I can. And I'm going to continue to draw back until it looks like only ink is coming in. I'm still getting air, so I'm just going to continue to draw back. And I can feel the vacuum starting to be created now. You can see, when you start feeling resistance on the syringe, you can see it pulling back. That means I'm starting to vacuum down the system. In this case, we don't have too much syringe, so I'm going to go ahead and stop right there. I've pretty much pulled the vacuum. I've pulled most of the air out of the system and most of the ink. You can pull all the ink or just the air. And so I'm just going to go ahead and stop the process now. So I've pulled most of the air out and the ink. Okay, I just showed you the process of removing the air and the ink from the bladder. You don't have to remove all your ink, but on my system I went ahead and removed all the ink from the bladder and as much air as I could, so the system is actually backing down. I've pre-filled the syringe with yellow ink. So the next step, once you have the syringe ready, is go ahead, and at this point I'm just going to go ahead and clamp the tubes. Because I just want to go ahead and refill the bladders with, you can put up to 60 milliliters of ink in the bladders. If you pull all the ink out, just refill them. If you have at least 40 milliliters in your bladders, you'll be fine and will not need to do this. But I just wanted to show you the filling process. I'm going to go ahead and put the syringe back in, and I'm going to go ahead and fill this bladder with 60 milliliters of ink. Okay, I've got the ink in the bladder now. The tubing is still clamped. I'm going to go ahead and pull a vacuum on the cartridge. You can see that the bulb pump is pulled in. I'm going to go ahead and, you can tell that there's an active vacuum because the syringe wants to pull back. So now I'm going to go ahead and hold that vacuum. I'm going to go ahead and set the cartridge up, pull that vacuum, and while holding that vacuum active, I'm going to go ahead and release the clamp. And I'm going to rock the cartridge a little bit, and as soon as I start getting ink in, and then the bulb pump will fill itself. Basically what I've done is I've removed the ink from the cartridge and allowing the bulb pump now to fill with ink from the tank. And while that's filling, I'm going to go ahead, now that I've got all the air out of the system from here, I'm going to go ahead and take this ink. I'm going to go ahead, and I'm not going to worry about getting a little bit of air back in there. And I'm going to go ahead and bump it. Now I just shot the ink back out. Now I'm going to do one final air removal process. I'm going to bump it a little bit, and as soon as I start getting a solid flow of ink, I've taken all the ink out of the bladder. And now my system is completely primed. Oh, and now the bulb pump's back up, and the bulb pump is really firm, and you can see that it's completely air free.